Spiconian Seeker First Class, protector of the innocent and captain of the Space Authority of the Milky Way Galaxy, appeared on the rooftop. He had a splitting headache. The problem with the energy matter transporter, he reflected hazily, was that it scrambled your brains a bit. Surely in this day and age someone would have worked out the kinks of that. He stood dazed for a few moments as he tried to get his bearings. Bits and pieces slowly came back to him, lounging poolside at Space Station Starbright, the high-class resort for interstellar travelers, sharing oxygen cocktails in the Meteor Lounge with a cute Spiconian stewardess who had a thing for leather and space cops, an antique weapons convention. Oh yes, now he remembered. Dracus. How could he have forgotten? He had been after the alien smuggler for over a year, had a sneaking hunch he'd find him at the space station, and sure enough, there he was doing a brisk business selling illegal arms to collectors. But just when Arachnus was about to slap the laser cuffs on him, the crook bastard bolted out the space station's convention center and into his vehicle. Arachnus followed in his official Space Authority police ship, but Dracus's larger and clunkier spacecraft was a souped-up, supercharged surprise. It was a wild ride at light speed. Arachnus fired, blasting holes through the enemy's ship's shields, finally scoring a direct hit on the engine's flight drive. It worked. Dracus's spacecraft sputtered and swerved crazily, finally slowing down to sublight speed.
Ah, gotcha.
The space cop grinned, shifting his gears down to sublight speed. He thought he had Dracus then and there, but then the alien creep outfoxed him by leading him into the Terran system. Absolutely the worst place to be playing cat and mouse and strictly forbidden to travelers. The sole inhabitants of this sector were a bunch of dolts that didn't have the technology to travel outside their own system. So if you were stranded here in a damaged craft, you were plain out of luck, fella. Maybe the smuggler took that risk figuring the cop wouldn't follow him.
You figured wrong.
Arachnus muttered between clenched teeth. He locked onto the enemy's craft's ion trail signature and followed, straight into the asteroid belt.
Uh-oh.
Arachnus muttered. The cunning smuggler had led him there, and now the space cop watched helplessly as the enemy craft launched sonic detonation charges into the asteroid field. In a frightening light show, shockwaves from the sonic blast set fragments of asteroid debris hurtling towards the police ship's shields. Luckily, Arachnus had them set at full power, but one look at the control panel told him the ship's sensors had sustained damage. When he looked up again, the enemy craft was gone.
Damn.
He muttered, but pressed onward, hoping the smuggler would not risk an open space confrontation with his light-speed drive damaged. As he reached the fourth planet from the sun, Arachnus still had no confirmation of the smuggler's craft on his tracking screen. This wasn't good, he thought. Without any visual, he was in an extremely vulnerable position. He veered his police craft towards the dark side of the moon to keep cover while the automated repair systems finished their jobs. But there wasn't time. A whiny voice drawled from the command console.
Thought you should know, Officer Arachnus. 2 high-yield missiles are locked onto our craft and are approaching rapidly.
I thought you were asleep, Goliath.
Arachnus murmured, snapping to attention. He fired countermeasures from the rear, then sped away from the incoming missiles. They exploded on impact, just as he had hoped, but Dracus followed with volleys of laser blast cannons mounted on the wings of his craft. Arachnus returned fire, explosions lighting up the skies as the two crafts pummeled each other. Within seconds, the protective shields of both were destroyed. Arachnus brushed the sweat from his eyes. Already he could feel the searing heat as laser weapons scorched the hull off his craft. Worse, his laser banks had run low and had switched to automatic recharge.
May I make a suggestion, officer?
The whiny voice from the command console inquired shyly.
Yeah, what you got, Goliath?
Ions.
Sheesh. How could I have forgotten about that?
Typical. You'd forgot your spike bones and organic webbing if they weren't attached to you.
Alright.
Arachnus muttered, hating it when Goliath gave him attitude. He gritted his teeth and took aim, launching a round of ion cannon fire at the enemy ship's life support systems. It was a bullseye, but Arachnus was not yet in the clear. His enemy had nothing to lose and now emptied all his sonic charges at the patrol ship. Arachnus could only swerve to avoid fire with no shields left and defenses running low. One direct hit could blow the police ship to smithereens. Arachnus waited it out until the last of the sonic charges exploded within a safe range of his craft, then continued his pursuit, following Dracus towards the third planet of the Terran system. He closed in, confident that the smuggler's craft had exhausted its weaponry, but once again he had underestimated the smuggler. A surprise torrent of laser fire shot out from the tail of the enemy craft, blasting a hole in through the police craft's hull and frying the navigational systems. Arachnus could do nothing. He had lost control of his craft and was caught in the tailwind of the enemy ship. He was following too fast and getting closer. A crash was inevitable. Goliath made the same assessment and whined,
Engaging emergency matter transport.
Arachnus gulped.
Go with honor, Goliath.
Likewise, Captain.
The space cop braced himself. He had employed the EMT on a spacecraft only once before, and he had never forgotten the stomach-turning, brain-rattling feeling. Here we go, he thought as the dreaded blue and yellow lights enveloped him. He only hoped it would be quick. He saw and heard the explosion of the two crafts, so he naturally figured he was a goner. But he had forgotten the inexplicable phenomenon of the EMT. It transported the body first, while the mind lagged seconds behind. He was already safe on land when, too high above the strange blue planet to be noticed, the two spacecrafts were extinguished in a brilliant flash of color and light. He now wondered,
Where the hell am I?
He knew the EMT always took the straightest path to dry land. This happened to be on the rooftop of the New Jersey Department of Labor building, situated at the edge of downtown Trenton, New Jersey. Of course, Arachnus didn't know the name of the building or the city or even the country. He did know what planet he was on, and he was grateful the EMT sent him to a place where there was clean air to breathe. It figured that the smuggler's spacecraft had a similar EMT and whisked its survivor to the same spot, and sure enough, there was Dracus appearing on the opposite end of the rooftop. You couldn't miss the ugly bastard in a crowd, Arachnus thought. He looked like a cross between a Terran human and one of their ugly flying nocturnal creatures. What did they call them? Bats. Arachnus watched Dracus touch something on his wrist. A weapon? But before he could determine that, the smuggler nodded with satisfaction and turned to face Arachnus.
When I am done killing you,
he said as he pulled a laser rifle from its holster strapped to his back.
I will retrieve my priceless merchandise that is coming down from the upper atmosphere.
Arachnus almost laughed. It sounded like a line from an old green and white Grade Z Picto tale when the villain tells his intended victim the evil plan just before killing him.
Our ships are dust, and so is your crappy cargo, Fang.
Dracus visibly stiffened at this insensitive reference to his toothy visage. He was about to inform Arachnus that the females on his planet found his sharp, protruding teeth extremely sexy, but the space cop would doubtless have a snappy comeback for that. He usually did.
Sorry to disappoint you.
He replied with a forced smile.
I sent my cargo into temporary orbits before the collision.
Arachnus shrugged.
Either way, you're coming with me, dead or alive.
He touched the Onyx device on the forearm of his uniform, forming a dark blue and gold full bodysuit with an alien script insignia on his chest. Once that was done, a blue translucent shield 30 inches in diameter appeared in front of him. Just in time, too, as Dracus fired at Arachnus, the combat shield deflected the green laser bolts as it shimmered and glowed. The problem with the body shield, Arachnus thought as he took the assault, was that it didn't cover your entire body. The smuggler knew that and fired at his feet. Arachnus jumped up to dodge the laser bullets, only he had overestimated this planet's gravity and somersaulted high into the air. Dracus tracked his orbit and fired at his feet again when he landed, but Arachnus dropped to a crouching position, lowering the shield to the ground where his feet should have been. It worked. The shield deflected the laser bullets, sending their energy right back to the source, the laser rifle itself. It exploded in the smuggler's hands, doing his armor-protected hands no harm, but throwing him backwards. When the smuggler came to his senses, Arachnus was standing over him.
Now, you just made me killing you much more interesting.
Dracus smirked. He gave an ear-piercing shriek that released laser claws from the wrists of his body armor. The space cop reached for his battle blade. It was just a hilt with no blade, but once he freed it from its magnetic leg attachment, a blade of light expanded with a blinding flash, becoming solid metal. Arachnus deactivated the protective shield to give himself full movement.
Dracus, this chase ends tonight.
He said. The toothy bat creature smirked.
Fine. Then tomorrow, I'll pick out a suit for your funeral.
Officer Arachnus leapt forward and slashed his sword at the smuggler's head. Dracus flicked his laser claws to block the attack, then crouched low on his right leg to sweep Arcanus's feet with his left. The space cop executed a graceful jump, neatly avoiding the leg sweep.
Not bad,
Dracus grudgingly admitted.
Then you'll love this.
Arachnus grunted. As he swung his battle blade, Dracus jumped backward, then the blade slashing where his head should have been. They kept at it, exhausting themselves with neither gaining the advantage. Arachnus activated the sonic mode on his sword and fired a small shockwave that missed the smuggler by inches, but blasted a nice chunk off the roof.
You're losing your grip, Arachnus,
Laughed Dracus, then jumped off the edge of the building. The space cop didn't expect that. He went to the edge of the rooftop to see if maybe Dracus was hanging off the side of the building. Peering cautiously over the ledge, he saw no sign of the fugitive.
Where the hell?
His shield device named Compass gave him an answer.
Right behind you, Captain.
Arachnus spun his head around quickly. Sure enough, the smuggler was gliding towards him from above on bat-like wings. Arachnus gripped his sword and aimed to strike, but Dracus deflected the weapon easily with a slash of his laser claws. As the sword clattered to the rooftop, he hovered in midair, hacking away at Arachnus' right shoulder plating. Arachnus fell to his knees, gasping in pain as he clutched his shoulder wound. The laser claws had cut through the shoulder armor and left a hell of a burn. Nothing serious, and he could live with the pain. But where the hell was Dracus? His eyes followed the likely flight path, off the side of the building to a smaller building a good distance away. Sure enough, there was Dracus, laughing at him from the neighboring rooftop. Arachnus muttered a curse. It was much too far for his sonic sword to be of any use, and he had no wings to glide to the other rooftop. He had to move quickly before he lost track of Dracus. With a sinking feeling, he realized there was only one thing to do.
Compass. How far is that building?
After a bit of static, Compass told him the exact distance, the equivalent of 150 feet.
Not advisable, Captain.
Compass added.
Thanks for the confidence boost.
Arachnus replied dryly.
No, seriously, Captain. Not advisable.
Arachnus was getting annoyed at Compass.
I didn't ask for your advice.
He mumbled. He took several backward steps, judging the distance for a good running start, and then he ran. First slowly, then picking up speed as he reached the ledge. With his last step, he hurled himself off the roof with the strongest leap he could muster. Then once airborne, he took aim, jerking both arms towards his destination. Tiny harpoons shot out from each arm of his protective suit, flying on thin wire-like muscle tissue with blazing speed to their target. Once they made contact with the rooftop, they secured themselves and broke Arachnus' fall. Summoning all his strength, he reeled himself to the next building. Now came the hard part. Using the spike bones in his body armor, he scaled the building wall 3 stories to reach the rooftop, where Dracus lay in wait. As the space cop pulled himself over the ledge, Dracus slashed at him with laser claws. Arachnus hooked into one of the smuggler's spindly legs with one of his spike bones, and the bastard fell, howling in pain, affording Arachnus just enough time to hoist himself to the rooftop.
Oh, that had to hurt.
He grunted to Dracus as he released the sonic sword from his side.
Consider it payback.
He swiped at Dracus, who deflected the blade with his laser claws, giving him time to get back on his feet. They parried back and forth, Dracus having the advantage since Arcanus was close to the rooftop ledge. That rattled the space cop's concentration a bit. He was already losing his grip on his sword, and Dracus noticed that. With a fierce swipe of the laser claw, he hooked onto the sonic sword and pulled it upwards and away from him. The pressure forced Arachnus to his knees. Dracus laughed, a wide grin on his monstrous face.
Oh, I do love this. You on your knees. Now beg for mercy.
As he bent over Arachnus, ready to shove him over the ledge, a thin rope of vile drool leaked from his mouth and over the space cop's helmet.
I can take just about anything.
Arachnus roared, shoving back hard against the alien and sending him staggering backwards.
Except freaking alien drool.
He jumped back to his feet on the ledge, then spun around and gave a flying kick to the side of Dracus' head. The sheer force of the kick sending the beast flying into the air, landing atop the rooftop skylight. Arachnus wiped the disgusting spittle from his helmet and arms, then angrily marched towards the skylight where Dracus lay writhing in agony. There was another sound, too, the glass of the skylight cracking around him. Arachnus took aim with his sword to finish him off, but in the split second it took for the sonic blast to reach Dracus, the glass shattered completely, and Dracus disappeared into the building.
Damn.
Arachnus thought. Standing at the edge of the skylight opening frame, he peered down into the darkened room below, but he could find no sign of Dracus, only shards of glass scattered on the floor. Only one thing to do, he thought with a sigh. With his sword poised and ready, he leapt through the jagged edges of the skylight atop the Chariot Hotel and into the new expansion studio of Rapid Action News.